part of Dr. King's dream was that all men are created equal, and he sat back there and we saw Barack sitting in the White House. That was just part of the dream. Okay, so now we got to get to the equality part.
So, along with some of your encouraging Facebook posts, you are also very vocal about the things going on in society, especially in a time when African Americans are calling for justice for certain acts of brutality against members of the community. And I'm sure you touched on it earlier, talking about your experiences at A&T, but what really prompts you to be vocal about these societal needs?
If you look around what's going on in the country right now, we're reliving the 60s, but it's a new generation leading the protest. And working with these young men and seeing things that have happened to our African-American males on TV, your mind goes back to say, what if? What if it was one of these men of distinction who had moved to a larger city and they got involved? You know, what if? So I think that along with having to experience hands-on racism myself, being called the N-word, because I don't use the word, being called the N-word, to have had people say that you're nothing just because of the color of my skin, and that hurts. That really hurts. And I sit back today and I look and I see a generation that's coming into play that is not going to let go of everything that has transpired until they see change. And change has to come through hard work. And I think that they're working hard, and I think that they're making a difference. And we're not going to see a complete change because it's not going to happen overnight. But I do think that part of Dr. King's dream was that all men are created equal, and he sat back there and we saw Barack sitting in the White House. That was just part of the dream. Okay, so now we got to get to the equality part. So how do we get to the equality part? You have to take that Negro spirit and say we're going to keep on marching until freedom is won. So we have to march from now until we're going to keep on marching and doing what we have to do until we see a complete change.
So right now we know we're dealing with COVID-19, and the school system has somewhat become a testing ground, if not a battleground, for how is America going to get back to normal in the face of COVID-19. What are your fears, concerns, anticipation, preparedness? Where's your head right now?
All over the place. And the reason I say that is because it's so much information that's out there, and it changes daily, and it's constantly changing dealing with COVID. We as a school have to have our safety measures in place, and I think our superintendent and central office staff has done a great job getting everything organized from what I've seen online and the emails we've received about everything. So there is a fear, but then there's not a fear. And I say that because I go back to my biblical standards, because God has not given me the spirit of fear. And I believe that whatever the decision is made, we're going to get through it, and we're going to get through it together. But I also believe that when you have on the whole armor of God, that he's not going to let anything come against you that's going to cause you to fail. And that's in sickness and in work or whatever. So I just believe that everything's going to be all right and it's going to work out. I mean, we have to have that faith. And if we don't have the faith, then we're defeating the purpose. So as long as we've got that faith to know that it's going to be okay, whether they return or they don't return, we're going to be fine. We just have to have the faith. And we have to take the safety precautions. I mean, you know, I've seen what Dr. Peterson is saying that you have to wear masks. They're going to have to wear masks. They're going to have to wear masks. That's what he's saying. That's what the CDC is saying. So we need to conform and follow the instructions that we're being given. This is, to me, COVID is just like Noah and the flood. You know, God has just given us a sign, and we have to stay faithful, obedient, and prayed up, and then let him handle the rest. Simple. Put God first, and everything else will fall in place. That's all you have to do. When you wake up in the morning, thank him. When you go to sleep at night, thank him. Put him first in all that you do, and everything else will fall in place.